Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a B-movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie Dead Mine. So Dead Mine is a Indonesian independent horror film, although it is actually filmed in English. So it's very much a similar film to the films like The Outpost, The Keep, that sort of thing. And also has some similarities to Neil Marshall's Descent as well. Basically the story involves a group of people led by this guy who's a kind of rich treasure hunter ultimately, and he wants to try and find some buried hidden treasure in these Indonesian mines, where in World War II the Japanese actually stored some treasure, some gold. And they've kind of been doing this research to try and find out where it might be. And with him, he's got a sort of engineer to sort of help, sort of obviously navigate these sort of old mine, things like that. A group of mercenaries and a couple of sort of female assistants. Now they're attacked by pirates and sort of like trapped in these mines, and ultimately have to sort of try and find their way through. And of course they find out that they're not alone, and in actual fact these mines were the location where the Japanese were doing experiments through World War II to try and make sort of, you know, super soldiers and what have you. And a lot of these you kind of have these some of these sort of creatures really, and they're kind of there's a couple of different types. There's these kind of like ones that were experimented on the prisoners, and they're very much like the sort of the monsters from Descent, sort of feral beasts. You kind of got these the Imperial Guard, which I'm assuming are probably like these Japanese soldiers, and they're kind of like the perfections, and they're all sort of done up in their sort of samurai armour. And then there's also like a kind of almost like a zombie-like Japanese guard there. And they're not actually undead. They're actually their lives have been sort of expanded upon but mutated with this kind of like these experiments. So it's kind of like I say, it's very similar to these sort of World War II sort of zombie films. Now it's not technically a zombie film, but you know, apart from the fact that they technically, these people are still, all these creatures are still alive, but other than that, they're very much like the sort of you know, act like zombies. You know, it's actually a pretty decent film in regards to its production values. It looks fantastic. It's got some, you know, I think the direction is pretty decent. The set design looks great, sound, everything like that. From a technical level, it looks really good, and it's got some good action moments. Now, the issue I guess I have with this one, and it's a fairly big issue, is the actual script. It's very, very cliche, which is a shame, because I think that, you know, if that had been sort of sharpened up and maybe, you know, maybe sort of not having to go in these very sort of typical sort of horror action cliches, and also a lot of the actual characters are fairly cliched as well, then it could have been, you know, a really decent film. It's not a particularly scary film. There are a couple of sort of jump scares. The makeup effects I think are pretty good. It's maybe a little bit sort of hokey in regards to the sort of science involved, but you know you can kind of just sort of have a degree of sort of disbelief in that sort of thing. But the main issue here is really the script and some of the dialogue that people, you know, that the sort of actors are saying. Acting themselves, I don't think it's too bad, to be quite honest with you. There's not really any sort of big names in this, or no sort of famous actors, but I think the acting is adequate enough for this sort of style of film. But I'd say, you know, it's an enjoyable film. I quite enjoyed it. So I think it's probably a cut above the rest of this sort of B-movie kind of like sort of subgenre that it sort of occupies. Pretty enjoyable, but nothing really new, I don't think. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Let me know, have you seen it? And leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.